Welcome to the Deep Focus Show. I'm Tavi,
And I'm Andrew.
and we are doing a special episode today, and it's Simpsons special kind of a video that we have planned for quite a bit of time, but are now here to make it. And I have the Simpsons expert with me from Canada, and I I've always just enjoyed the Simpsons, and it'd be fun to make this our favorite
For sure. And
episode.
I just want to say there's no one who can come up with a better repertoire of Simpsons GIFs than Tavi. So there you go.
And like so basically this episode will be our five favorite episodes. And just I have some questions I'm gonna lead us into this episode of, and the first question will be early Simpsons memories, and kind of like some sort of background. You can start with your
Sure.
Simpsons. I'm guessing from your childhood.
Yeah. So I've watched The Simpsons since probably before I can actually remember. Just something that more or less was always there. I mean, it's been
Mm.
running longer than both of us have been around. I think my first recollection was the Trios of Horror episodes that would show up around Halloween.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so I guess I kind of like those kind of things on TV. And
Mm.
so that's probably the first memory is watching, I think it was maybe the zombie episode or something. Some of the humor translates at any age, and some of it like stands out later, which is
Yeah.
probably why maybe my appreciation grew over time, even if it was already something I
Yeah.
enjoyed as a kid. Um, and like it's still going. I haven't kept up with all the new ones, but I'd say my interest mostly sits on kind of the classic period that most people quote and love.
Yeah. 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 For me, it's kind of always been there as far as I can remember. Basically, if you um, if you just open your TV, there usually might be a Simpsons episode there. It kind of feels like, and I always try to watch them as much as possible as um, before any like streaming we had streaming or anything like. But I think the problem for me is like they came usually the same time as my parents watched the news. So it was always like Simpsons versus the news. And usually the news won over the Simpsons. But then like I remember getting season seven as a from my parents as a Christmas gift, and I've seen those episodes so many times, and we had some other DVDs as well, and I bought season six shortly after, and basically season six and seven is probably my most viewed. Maybe some episodes I've watched maybe too many times, but they're still in that classic Simpsons era. And yeah, I definitely won't probably ever gonna watch every Simpsons episode there are. I think there's like 750 or a huge number nowadays. It's crazy. But yeah, I love the classics Simpsons definitely. And
Well, hopefully, we're both familiar with all of our picks because I probably going to speak for both of us when I say our favorites are going to be within that kind of those few years, probably.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And well, I don't know did we answer this already, but I just wrote like what Simpsons mean to us. Do you have anything to add there?
Um, I don't know. I feel like because I would have seen it so much at a young age, maybe it introduced me to a lot of pop cultural references. Like there are
Yeah.
lots of movies that I would have seen after this, and I'm like, I see something,
Mm.
and it's like, oh, The Simpsons did this, and so
Mm.
it's a big thing in terms of kind of, I guess,
Yeah.
shaping kind of your understanding
Mm.
of, like, especially in pop culture, maybe other things too, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What seems just mean to me? Well, I guess it's always been just one of these feel good things you can kind of trust. You just open them up and laugh and have a great time. And I was lucky that my I was allowed to watch it because I knew not everyone my age was because well, I don't find it too bad, but I guess it does have it's sort of that
It
good.
was
Like
a little bit more controversial at the time when it started, but then once other
yeah,
raunchier shows started, like South Park and Family Guy and stuff, I don't think
yeah,
in hindsight
yeah,
it looked
yeah.
cool.
But like yeah, I don't basically have. Oh, I gotta ask you one more question.
Sure.
What's your favorite character in Simpsons?
Um, it's a tough question because like some of these characters they kind of changed over the years. So I almost kind of lean towards some of the secondary characters who like I'm always happy when they show up sometimes, like Millhouse or Lionel Hutz or I don't know. Even
Yeah,
Skinner
yeah,
can be quite funny at times. Just like so I kind of like the ones you get in smaller doses, maybe.
yeah, yeah. Secondary, I think Ralph is always putting a smile, and but I guess, well, I guess I have to say Homer.
He's
I
probably
think,
responsible for the most like great jokes over the years.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah, I don't know about new Homer, but at least the classic era Homer was
Yeah,
just so, so much fun.
yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah, we're gonna do our favorite episodes one out of time and starting from the oldest to newest kind of way. And I'm gonna let you start, Andrew, with your first favorite. I don't know.
Sure. So the first one I have is from the third season of the show. It's called Homer at the Bat, and this is like a baseball softball episode filled
Yeah,
with real players of the time. And I feel like later on in the series, it might have been too much to have so many guest stars playing themselves, but there's something about the way they do it in this one that works really well. So, for those who don't know, it's basically Mr. Burns makes a bet with a rich rival of his on who would win the company softball match. And
yeah,
he brings all these professional players along by throwing money at them. And but one by one, like a strange twist of fate, turns them out of commission. And then it's up to the regular team to win it all, anyways. Really great jokes like Homer using like a hunk of metal to shield them from the lightning, or just some of the fates that happen to the players, like falling into this never-ending pit, or having to take everything out of this burning house, or the one guy who just gets kicked off the team for uh, his sideburns when it's not established what even Burns thinks a sideburn is. um, and then it ends like on this really catchy parody song to close it out. So it's just a really fun kind of gag fest episode.
yeah. I have the same first pick.
Wow.
So Homer at the bat. Yeah, I just recently watched it with Tom. We've been watching some Simpsons episodes and kind of almost forgot how funny this episode is. And Well, you spoke most of my things. I'm just gonna add like one of the players got that scene when he gets into the argument with Barney and like who's the best prime minister of Britain is so hilarious. And in that during one of the final scenes, Homer gets to play and burns all his crazy instructions are also really funny. And but yeah, just just a lot of jokes and most of them are hitting. And I think that's what I love about one of these classic Simpsons episodes that there's like you can do so many jokes like in just 1 minute almost like just delivering those jokes like so well. But yeah, Homer at the Bat is also my first favorite episode.
Nice. I wasn't sure if we were going to have any matches, but there we go.
Yeah, we will see what happens now.
Yeah. So my second one, jumping to season 4, and this might be my favorite season of the show. I just think there's a lot of great episodes in a row there, but the one I'm picking is called Last Exit to Springfield. Uh, a lot of people consider this one of the best episodes. It's probably kind of a game changer in terms of bending the limits of like what it could be, the show. Basic story about Homer leading this strike at the power plant to get a dental plan back, and Lisa needs braces. But the simplicity there is surrounded by a style in this one that's really silly and off the wall. And it's almost surreal. You just kind of have like these non sequitur things that are funny. I mean, there's like a McBain clip, there's always a good running gag on the show, parroting Arnold Schwarzenegger. Uh,
Yeah.
Burns and Smithers fantasizing about running the power plant on their own. Uh, a really hilariously pointless guest appearance from Dr. Joyce Brothers, where she says like one line and that's all she's there for.
Oh yeah.
Um, the computer rendering of Lisa's teeth is like really absurd. And then probably one of the most quotable lines in the show to me is the monkeys using the typewriters and then Burns picks up the sheet. It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. That's a great one. So
Yeah.
another really funny episode.
Yeah, that is an excellent pick. But don't have that at the moment. It's few episodes before that. It's March versus the Monorail from season 4, and um, I think one of the I don't know, it's maybe even my favorite episode, Simpsons episode, but basically they are parents have to pay like a 3 million fine that they can that the Springfield can use, and they're like thinking what to do with the money, and then suddenly this just um, guy comes up and suggests that they build a monorail to the Springfield, and he makes a song, and all everyone gets along with that song, and then they have to find the monorail conductor for it, and of course it's gonna be Homer. And but what they don't know is that he's basically a crook, and he really builds very badly made monorails, and obviously it's gonna go all wrong, and they must hope they have a great conductor too. But Homer is gonna be Homer in this episode. And yeah, there's so many great jokes. There was like some joke with Homer Um, Bart being proud of Homer's new job, and then Homer's like to Bart, so now do you want to be called Homer Junior now? And the kids can call you Hoju, or so random. And one of my favorite lines in Simpsons is also um, their Simpsons family is in that monorail, and Homer is doing the tour of it, and they start this like I don't know, a cabinet or something, and they see a opossum family there, and Homer just I call the big one Bitey. It's so like also like how did Homer knew there's gonna be that opossum family and he didn't do anything. Just I call the big one Bitey. So funny. And Homer also leaving his keys inside the monorail is one of the funniest scenes. And get a rock basically. Um, yeah, and I didn't even mention it starts with that Flintstones song that I used to even have a like in my phone that sound clip where Homer sings the Flintstones theme with his own lyrics. But but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so, yeah,
maybe an even better example of them kind of stretching the limits um, of the wackiness too.
yeah. But yeah, totally recommend this episode. I think this is one of the written by Conan O'Brien wrote
Yes,
this.
right. He was the writer for the show for a bit there.
Yeah, it was. That's
Nice
your
pick.
third one. Thank you.
My third one is from season 6. So I feel like I had to represent the Trios of Horror. So I picking
Hmm.
Trios of
Yeah.
Horror 5. They're always one behind because they didn't have one in the
Is
first
that the
season.
Shining one?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it is. So yeah, um, like these episodes, they have like usually 3 stories, and
Hmm.
I think this is the best one because like all 3 are really really good. Um, so yeah, you have the Shining one that's a pretty faithful parody, and then there's the one with the time machine and like the shenanigans with that, and then the the probably one of their most gruesome stories, the school of faculty serving the students as meat at the cafeteria. Um,
Ah,
but all of them have this like really zany but unsettling tone. The thing. Some of my favorite moments include, oh, that's strange. The blood usually gets off at the second floor in The Shining one, or the payoff to the alternate dimension where nobody knows what a donut is, or Skinner being really overt about the grisly secret and just asking the kids to scratch his last remark type thing. Just really good episode. You kind of get a feel for what those ones are about, and I think that's one of the ones I definitely would have seen a lot as a kid growing up. So very nostalgic too.
yeah. One of my favorite moments is when the from the Shining one is when Homer basically when in the Shining um Jack is with the stairs scene and then Homer sees his own scary face in the mirror and then falls down because of it. But yeah. Um, I have to admit, I've never been the biggest fan of Treehouse of Horrors, but I would probably say that's one of my favorite Treehouse of Horrors, basically.
Yeah, the one
But
thing about those is because they're trying to fit in 3 stories. They're very very fast paced, so you probably don't get the character stuff as much as you might in some of the other episodes. But um, I think that's a good
yeah,
one.
yeah. Um, well, my next one you already talked about. I also have Last Exit to Springfield, and do I have something you didn't mention? I have one of my favorite gifs I know from The Simpsons is where Homer is like, "Where's my burrito? Where's my burrito?" And he's hitting that burrito like a, I don't know what do they call it, even like a stand or
Yeah.
and then there's first like a scene where Homer and Bart is um doing a trade or to Homer traded some I don't know donut or some sort of pastry and he got like a doorstop or I don't know what is it from Bart. That is funny and then Homer in one scene thinks Burns is hitting on him and
Yeah.
that's pretty funny. And
Yeah, and it has what his mind is thinking. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And there's Lisa has to take one of the more cheap praises, and there's like the Batman 1989 Batman like reference with the mirror, which is cool. And um, then one of my favorite sequences from the episode is the hired goons that take Homer. There's like goons, who hired goons? Just so, and the TV um interview is funny with Homer with something can say something about lumbering dinosaur and then Homer screams
That
randomly.
scream is a funny scream. Maybe his
Yeah,
best scream.
yeah. Because basically his face doesn't change at all. You just kind of just hear him. But yeah, yeah, I would suggest watching that too. And yeah, even the jokes are kind of like tough. It's like you have to see them. They're like very you can't almost even explain them. It's just you have to watch it to understand.
For
But
sure.
yeah, great episode.
Nice. I guess I'm on my fourth one now. I'm going
Yeah.
back to season 6 one more time. It's a flashback episode. It's called "And Maggie Makes Three." There's about
Mm,
like 4 or 5 of these that I think kind of make up the backbone of the Simpsons family history. They kind of help us to give a foundation on who the characters are and how they came to be. And I think this is probably my favorite. Like the other one that was really close was Lisa's First Word.
mm,
But this one centers around the story of how Maggie was like the unexpected third child and the financial struggles that went along with that. And you get a lot of funny bits, especially with Homer again, like when there are all these hints being dropped about Marge being pregnant, totally going over his head, and then an innocuous comment makes him think that somehow. Um, or like when he's uh, telling a story about Marge getting pregnant, and it cuts to him acting out like a sperm to the family, and they're like all freaked out or whatever. um,
yeah.
and then all the stuff with working in the bowling alley is great too, and probably worth mentioning because like it's a show that also has heart too, and it has one of the more heartfelt endings of the show, and kind of
Oh
gets
yeah.
meme nowadays. The "Don't forget you're here forever," but it really is a great ending and really
Mm.
adds a nice note to it. So yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah, you basically see how Homer how he lost his hair in that episode, which
Right.
is always been one of the funniest
With
things.
each kid, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nice, nice. My next one is gonna be from season 5. Yeah, I have Homer Goes to College. Again, basically have a lot of these Homer-centric episodes here, and in this one, Homer needs to be qualified for his job, that he can continue his job at the power plant and by getting a college degree. And obviously, many things happened there. And like this episode, basically one scene, Homer starts chasing a squirrel, which will always be one of my favorite moments. And then the one scene where like this professor makes a bad physics joke or something, everyone laughs except Homer, and then the professor drops his notes, and then Homer starts to laugh at him alone, and
That's a
that's a
funny
funny
one.
one. Yeah, and then well, I think basically Homer is trying in this episode like to recreate sort of college life. He probably based it on like Animal House or something that he's seen, and it creates these funny moments, um and he basically hangs out with the nerds there, and it's yeah, very funny episode again. Like I think also written by Conan O'Brien, this one, and I don't yeah, Conan was wrote some of the I think one of the funnier episodes in Simpsons, and I think that I don't know how much Simpsons helped his career at the moment, but um I would assume it kind of helped because he was soon in late night then.
Yeah, like his show started very shortly after.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm glad you mentioned that one because that probably would have been if I had an extra slot, probably would have been that episode. It's really funny. So
yeah, yeah,
especially because like all the characters, like he's acting it like how they do in the movies, but all the other characters are just like way more like even tempered and stuff, and it's like he's in a different reality or something. That's funny.
yeah,
Like the dean is so nice, but he's treating him like he's this big villain.
yeah, yeah. There's like there was some um like a pig or something like in this episode where like
Yeah.
and the dean is like that sounded like the pig fainted or something like that. So random but so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Great
yeah,
pick.
what's your um
Yeah, my last one.
last one? Yeah.
Probably the least expected pick, maybe. It's from season 7, and it's the finale of it. It's called Summer of 4'2", and it's basically like The Simpsons take on a summer vacation cottaging thing. And this one works like a bit of a coming of age story. Centers primarily on Lisa around meeting new kids, forging this new image, and Bart being jealous. There's a nice heart at its core to this one again, and also some laughs, mainly in the form of what the rest of the family has going on. There's a parody of American Graffiti where Homer tries to buy illegal fireworks by casually listing a bunch of other items along with it. Lots of funny little touches like the dishwasher acting up or Marge
Yeah.
bringing in Tang before the kids say, "Oh, my mom always brings in Tang" or whatever. Um, and I think the best part is we have Milhouse tagging along, who I mentioned is kind of like a low-key favorite. He's got a really funny dynamic in this one, and the really hilarious mystery date game scene where Homer sees the dead, and it looks suspiciously like Milhouse in his slow realization. It's such a funny bit.
Mm. Yeah, nice. I had to really think about that episode, but yeah, now I do remember that episode. Nice pick, really. Um, my last episode is from season 8, actually, and it's Homer's Enemy with Frank Grimes. And I had to say this is one of the um funniest episodes I know. I, I slightly think this is maybe a little. I'm not sure is this divisive by fans, this episodes, but they kind of really dumped down Homer in this episode, and almost like the episode is against Frank Grimes, and all him trying to do is basically putting a normal people and what happens when he works with someone like Homer and all the dynamics of it. And yeah, it's it's a crazy one. And Homer does a lot of stupid things in this one, and like oh dear, no, it's just blanking.
There's
Oh
like the
the
vial. He's gonna drink the vial of like acid or something.
oh yeah, the and then it gets thrown to the wall, and Burns is like, "Who did this on my wall?" And Homer's like, "He did." While he saved his life, and Homer got and he Frank Grimes got the trouble. But yeah, I think the jokes are mostly about well, basically Frank Grimes' misery in some ways, and like at Homer kind of sometimes he's not just trying to just doing the usual Homer things, and then it all goes against Frank, and um, it almost is slightly dark. Even there's like the spoiler alert. There's the Frank's funeral at the end, and then Homer just sleeps through it and says Marge changed the channel, and then they all start laughing.
That season had a few dark deaths because it also had the Mary Poppins parody where she gets hit by a plane in
Oh
that season.
yeah, yeah. Oh dear, but yeah, yeah. That is I basically picked a lot of Homer episodes in this one, but any honorable mentions you want to share? Did you have anything?
Yeah, I mentioned Lisa's first word. That's a good one. Another
Yeah,
flashback.
yeah.
I think season, the second season, the very first episode, Bart gets an F. Maybe almost like the one of the more dramatic episodes, but it's actually really good. It was I kind of like those earlier episodes because they were took a bit more time with their characters and stuff. So that's a good episode. Um, you mentioned Homer Goes to College. That's a great one. Um, I think one of my later favorite episodes is the Beer Baron episode with the bootlegging and stuff in Springfield.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's a good one. So yeah, there's the list could probably go on.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of I don't know the name of the episode, but basically where the Germans buy the power plant. I remember that being really funny. And maybe Who Shot Mr. Burns? That's being a two-parter kind of is tough, but um I don't even know. There's a lots of episodes. I Love Lisa, where she plays hockey is pretty funny, and Homer the Heretic, where he doesn't go to church, and that so many. So yeah, that was our honorable mentions. Next, I'm just gonna ask, do you wanna give something like closing thoughts about Simpsons?
Sure, I think even though we're highlighting certain episodes, there's like at least in the seasons that I know, I pretty much like something from every episode. There's usually really funny joke that I'd want to pull from it, and some of them you enjoy in context. Some of them are just great, just like in any context. So I mean, it's a very quotable show. Lots of memes have come out of it, obviously. So
Yeah.
uh, there's lots to recommend here. If you've seen a few and you like it, there's probably plenty more there for you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Basically, like I think Simpsons for me is mostly about the comedy. I would say that's maybe my favorite thing about it. And I just kind of want to laugh when I watch Simpsons. Well, it can also have heart, obviously, but um, but yeah, it's just one of my favorite shows of all time, actually. And even if I haven't seen, I don't even know how many percents I've seen about all the 750 episodes, but
It's probably
uh,
probably under half for me now, for sure.
oh, definitely for me. So,
Yeah.
but
I was watching it quite a bit, like up to like high school or so. So I've probably seen all those episodes. But then you realize that it's been going on for like another 15 years since then. So it's like, oh no.
yeah, 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 true, true. And yeah, I guess this was our Simpsons special, and um, for deep focus, I think we have what do we have? We have the Oscars series going on. Aiden and Drew does those at the moment, and um,
Maybe we'll see
I'm
join us at some point. We'll see.
yeah, maybe yeah, and maybe the newer get a little bit closer to. But I think we have Paul Thomas Anderson coming. Maybe Nolan even. I'm not sure. Am I allowed to say this? And Aiden just released a solo review of solo ranking of. Oh, I'm blanking.
Yeah, another
Lauren
Bogart,
Bogart and
Bacall.
yeah, Bogle. Yeah, Bogart and Bagel. I don't know how to say it. Puggle. I don't know. But yeah, check all our previous episodes, and I want to thank you, Andrew, doing this with me, and had a good time. And I
Thank
guess
you. I
we're
couldn't
gonna
think of a bigger Simpsons fan to do this with, so it was good.
yeah, and yeah, we're gonna see you in the next episode, and I'm gonna peace out and bye bye.
Bye.